Okay, I wasn't planning on doing a review for this episode, but it turns out I actually kind of liked it, which might seem surprising because I just hated the last episode, pretty much from top to bottom. But this episode I thought was a pretty good setup for the rest of the season, and there's some cool things about it. Although I still have a lot of questions, and there's some problems with it, and we'll get into that. But it opens up with basically where they left off in the last episode, where Q and Picard are together and they're talking, and Q seems very angry. He's talking in riddles and he's just pissed off. There's some kind of cringy dialogue about cutting to the chase, and everything seems like a pun.
What do you want, Q? Will you come to the point?
You want me to cut to the chase?
Yes!
For the chase is cut, Picard. The chase is bleeding. The chase is dying in your arms.
And I am but a suture in the wound.
I mean, what does that mean? I assume that all of that is going to be made clear to us, but like I said, the whole first part of this episode it's very vague. Q is talking in total vagaries, but I assume that it's going to be made clear at some point. And it also seems like there's something wrong with Q, like maybe he's sick or dying. I don't know how they're going to explain that or what that's about, but like I said, this is a setup episode, so hopefully we'll see. Because it doesn't seem like very Q-like behavior. He's very different in this episode. And he also makes references to a lot of Star Trek episodes. He says yesterday's Enterprise and Through a Mirror Darkly, which is a Star Trek Enterprise episode. I wonder if that line about cutting to the chase is also a reference to The Chase. I don't know. It's very strange. And Q says, I could tell you what's going on, but you're far too clever to listen. And I don't know what the fuck that means. I mean, it doesn't seem to make much sense to me. Too clever to listen? If you know what that means, try to explain it, because I don't get it. He says it's not a lesson, it's a penance, which is the title of the episode, of course. And for some reason, every time Q does his finger snap thing, it sounds like a door slamming. It's very dramatic. It's very aggressive. And it turns out that in this reality that Q has created, humanity is awful because the writers love stories about how awful humans are. And in this life, Picard was a galactic tyrant. He keeps Romulan and synthetic slaves at his home. And he's apparently conquered just about every major alien character in the Star Trek universe. And he keeps their skulls on a pedestal. And one of them is Gul Dukat. And in this reality, Picard fighting with Dukat is how he ended up getting a android body. That's how that happened in this timeline, which is weird. I mean, first of all, it sounds more interesting than what happened to Dukat in the original timeline. At least I know that might piss off some Deep Space Nine fans, but that sounds kind of interesting to me. If Picard fighting Dukat to the death, I don't know. That just seems slightly better than what we got. But, that's also weird to me, because if this is how evil Picard ended up getting his android body, you'd think that he would have chosen something other than the old man body that he has. Like, you'd think that evil tyrant Picard would be living in a giant mech at this point, like the bad guy from RoboCop 2. But no, he's just still the same old guy. I wonder if he has super strength or something like that. And I also wonder what some of the other heads are in his collection with these skulls. One of them is Sarek. Another one is General Martok. I'm not sure what the other heads are, though. One is a Ferengi. Maybe it's Grand Nagus Zek. Or maybe Damon Bach. I don't know. I know there's a lot of speculation. And it's kind of cool to see. And I guess Picard is the greatest conqueror of all time. Somehow he and the entire Federation, or in this case the Confederation, have defeated every major faction in the galaxy, including the Borg. I mean, how does that make sense? Ruthlessness alone isn't enough to make them stronger than everyone else. I don't get it. That just seems kind of weak to me. And it turns out that Seven is the president of this confederation. And she's just as aware of the changes as Picard is, which is strange to me. All of the main characters are aware of the change in the timeline. I mean, there were thousands of Starfleet officers in the fleet that blew up in the first episode, plus a bunch of Borg drones, I imagine. But only Picard, Rios, Seven, Jurati, Raffi, and Elnor, and the Borg Queen are aware of it. Although the Borg Queen situation may be unique, because they say she has some kind of trans-dimensional awareness, so she may be aware of the changes for that reason, which I actually think is kind of cool. I like that the Borg would be so advanced that they would have an awareness that transcends time and space. I'm into that. And it turns out that she's aware of the exact point in time that Q changed, which, I mean, that's kind of convenient. So because of that, they decide they have to go back in time and fix what he did. Again, it's a very old Star Trek story. They go back in time to fix the present a lot. Star Trek loves to go quantum leaping. And I guess there's still a Vulcan war going on. I don't know how that's possible, because they defeated the Borg, the Klingons, and the Romulans. But they're still struggling with the Vulcans. And earlier, Q said that Picard killed Sarek, on Vulcan. So they were on Vulcan, and they left, and there's still a war going on. I don't know. There's just some inconsistencies, and it's just the little details that bother me. And this is where Rios shows up. And he's apparently leading the fight against the Vulcans. And he's dressed like an evil Han Solo. He's got a vest on and everything. Except he's wearing black jeans, like AC Slater.
Stupid.
And basically the entire rest of the episode is about the main characters finding their bearings and each other in this new galactic dictatorship and escaping. Although it is annoying to me that the Jurati character has basically just become comic relief. She's slow to catch on to what's happening, and it just makes her look dumber than the other characters. And she's supposed to be brilliant, but her inability to think on her feet is just done for laughs, and it puts the other characters in jeopardy, and I think they're overdoing it with that. But overall, I liked it better than the last episode. I still think there's a lot of flaws in the overall premise. It's a really great setup episode, like I said, but to be fair, that's kind of the easy part. I just don't think there's any way that this show comes to a close in a satisfying and believable way. But we'll see. Because I just don't think that altering one event in the year 2024, that's what they say, would suddenly turn every single human after that point into a ruthless, hateful monster. I just don't think there's anything that could explain that. What possible reason, or what possible event, rather, would happen in 2024 that would turn Picard, almost 400 years later, into a monster? I mean, it makes sense in the mirror universe because everyone's brain seems to be wired differently in that universe. But this is the main universe. So unless something happened that altered the brain chemistry of every human on Earth, I find it very hard to believe that this would happen. And I know what you're saying. Just stop nitpicking. But it annoys me. I don't know what to tell you. I just have trouble buying it. But I'm at least slightly more interested to see where it goes than I was. So, they've got me. I was about to, punch out with this show, but it looks like I'm into it, for now at least. Although it does annoy me that the show, the episode ended on a cliffhanger. Like, we've seen the trailers, man. Like, we know they get out of this. So, I just, that bothered me. Like, come on. What are you doing? I don't think that's how the episode should have ended. It's a cliffhanger, but it's like, who cares? We know they're going to get out of it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, that's basically all I got for now. I'm going to try to make sure that this, my shitty little channel doesn't devolve into the Picard review show. So my next video won't be about Picard, I promise. If you're not into this shit, I'm going to do something different. So, you don't have to listen to me babble about a show that I kind of don't even really like. But anyway, that's all I got for now. Just remember, if you wake up in a alternate universe where everyone is evil, try to play along better than Agnes Girardi.
It's been a while, Doctor.
Has it?
Yes, the last time I saw you, you were gazing at the stars.
Yes, the stargazer. Yes. I mean, I'm a stargazer.
Jesus Christ. You fooled him, Chief. You fooled him all. Yeah.